Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and we're back today, guys, with another week of Market Watch for the Seto Kaiba Market Watch. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. We're going to be talking about the meta and some meta-relevant cards, with the special edition recently dropping for Maximum Crisis. We're going to talk about the impact of that. We're going to talk about cards that you may not know that are actually worth some money and things that it may be a good idea to pick up in trades or invest in because they're actually worth some money, I guess you could say. So some older sets. So first off, we're going to talk about Maximum Crisis. Just go over a synopsis here. So uh, Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. I already checked on eBay before I did this video. It is hovering around $60. It's going into the low 50s. I think after a week or so, this will settle into the 55, maybe 53, 54 range. Uh, Maybe hit the high 40s. That would be hoping. But special editions have only been out for a couple of days now. They dropped on Friday. I would say we are going to continue to see this price decrease until most likely regional season starts up in probably you'll see probably mid to late August. You're going to see this price go up, but after national seasons, you'll see it go down a little bit more for a week or two, and then it's going to start climbing back up. Diachronic diagram, though, it's a little bit different story. Right now, they're hovering around 72, 73, $74. Pretty much on eBay, they're hovering around more towards the 70 to high 60s at the moment that I'm doing this video at 8 p.m. on Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, excuse me. It's 8 p.m. Standard Eastern Time, Monday afternoon. But yes, they're hovering around the high 60s, low 70s, so they're a little bit cheaper on eBay than on TCG Player. Uh, One of the best cards of the format, Masterpiece, the True Draco Slayer, is actually about $21, $20 here or there. Same thing on eBay for me checking earlier. So masterpieces, I think these are going to eventually settle to around $18, maybe 15 if we're lucky. But yeah, for one of the best cards in the format, he's less than 20 bucks, but you need your diagrams to run him efficiently. For the rest of the things in Maximum Crisis, pretty much everything else is $10 for the other secrets. Duelist Alliances have dropped dramatically still, but there's not a lot of money cards in the set at the moment. Maybe down the road, Duelist Alliance will go up, but pretty much Tornado Dragon and Unending Nightmare are the only two things to write home about. The only thing that's different from eBay is the Dragonic Diagrams, where they're about 74 to $73, where they're 70 to the low 60, very high 60s on eBay, as you see here, a little bit cheaper. Cards that I'm very surprised with is worth a lot of money. Now, I'd always heard, Toon Diagrams, that would be a card. Toon Kingdoms were worth some money, but I was pleasantly surprised to some degree how much they had actually gone up since the last time I checked them. The last time I checked Toon Kingdoms, they were floating around $20, $25. They've gone up $5 and have continued to increase. Mimicat is another card that has continued to increase. Now, if you remember when Dragons of Legend 2 came out almost 2 years ago now, believe it or not, they were some of the more sought after secret rares in the set. Toon Kingdom was very sought after. Mimicat was sought after because people thought it was a broken card. Now, Mimikat's only run as a 1 of or 2 of in the deck, but it's very iconic because it was on the show. I know a lot of nostalgia people out there just want the card. It's a decent to good card with in a Toon deck, and it's playable. So playability, nostalgia, big time because it was on the show a lot. Mimikat was because it was in the Duelist Kingdom arc. I think against Seto and Yugi, Pegasus played it. So very nostalgic card, and people have been wanting this card to be actually a card for years. I remember, and we're so happy that it was when this set got announced 2 years ago. Toon Kingdoms, it's the best field spell. if you're going to play tunes, you need your 3 Tune Kingdoms. And the fact that it's never, both of these cards did not get reprinted in Dragons of Legend 3, ever since then, their price has continually gone up and up. If you look at the rest of Dragons of Legend 2, it's all below $10 for the most part for near mint stuff, which is amazing because I remember this card when it for a while, this card was worth what, like $10 before the reprint for the secrets. Everything else is worth some money, I will admit that. So you got a couple dollar cards here or there, but the 2 big money cards of the set are the Mimicat and the Tune Kingdom. That's where the money's at. And I think I would say if you were given an opportunity to trade these cards, trade them, sell them, I think the Tune Kingdom especially will continue to go up, and here's my reasons why. I do not foresee this card getting reprinted anytime soon. It should, but it should get reprinted, but it's not going to probably because it's not out of a main core set. And Konami has a tendency that if it's not in a main core set or not a show and jump promo, they are not going to print it fast. Okay, if it's out of a Dragons of Legend, Dragon Legend 2, it usually takes a little while for it to get reprinted, a year or two. Now, it may get reprinted later this year. I mean, the original Dragon of Legend stuff got reprinted, 2 years later. But this card's going to be worth money, and I think it's going to be a solid investment. I think it's very good. I think it's a very wise investment. I think Tune Kingdom will continue to go up. They're not going to get a better field spell anytime soon. It's going to be necessary to play 3 in the deck. Mimikat's a 1 or 2 of a staple. I think this card will hit a high maybe of 20 in the high to mid 20s. It's going to hit 20 eventually. This has the possibility to hit 40 at one point, with 35, I think, eventually, and maybe a year from now. They're going to continue to go up until they get a reprint. And so it's pretty good. I mean, if you look up Tune Kingdoms on eBay, they're even higher. $34, $35. They're already hitting on eBay, as you see here, for one Tune Kingdom. $40 on eBay. I mean, look at this. So they're already starting to hit that mark that I was just talking about. So they're going to continue to go up. They're going to probably hit 40. They're already starting to do it on eBay. It's only a matter of time, because look, they're all in 11111. These are all lightly played. What's the near mint ones looking like here? Near mint Tune Kingdoms, and you can see they've slightly gone up over time, kind of, I guess you could say. They're hitting 30 solid. So, I'm not saying, I mean, but once the 30s get bought out, it hits 31, then 34, 33, and keeps climbing, And Tune Briefcase, I think, would be a good pickup too, because that's a good trap card. But that's just beside the point on their thing. But yeah, like I said, on eBay, they're hitting there. There's a couple 30s, but a lot of high 30s to mid 30s. Another card I want to talk about in a set in general is 2014 Mega Packs. We're going to talk about that in a second because that set is now 3 years old. And there's a lot of good stuff in there. But I want to talk about Exciton Knights. If you still have your Exciton Knights, you probably know this already, but they're worth money. And there's always talk, just like Trishula was back after Trishula got banned, that this card may come back down the road. It may come back in the future. So if you got a couple bucks to spend and you can get it in a trade, pick up an Exciton Knight. It won't hurt you. I remember back when Trishula, I had my original Trishula after Trishula got banned. I had my first one. I had from the, not Dual Terminal, but the Secret Hidden Arsenal series. So I had got one from there. And then when it got to a low point, like, 3-4 years ago, I picked one up for like $8 when it was banned. And people were like, oh, that's a bad trade. And I was like, oh, watch. And I flipped it when it came back for like $20, $25. So I made a profit of like $15, $20, which is good. So for long-term investments, I think Evil Swan Exciton would be good. I know a couple people that are on my YouTube channel that have sent me pictures of, like, they have an entire page of Exciton Knights and they're just waiting for it to come back. Will it come back? You may say that right now it's not going to come back. Yeah, and that may be true, but it has a strong possibility that one time in the near future it may come back. It is unbanned in the OCG, the end of the pendulum era. This card was hit because of pendulums. I'm not saying I would personally like to see this card back, but I'm saying knowing Konami, there's a possibility it could come back, just like Trishula was back when people said Trishula was going to come back. Another 2014 Mega Pack card that we're going to talk about. I think it's a decent investment. Now, right now, it's on the upswing, so it's worth some money. But if these cards go down in price, I would say pick them up. If you can get them for a decent deal, get a play set, because this card's always been a decent to good card in my book. It's very versatile, very useful. You can do it with a whole bunch of different plays with this card, especially if you want a mini Summoner Monk engine. It can be pitched, or you can use it for Twin Twister pitching fodder if it's just dead in your hand. It has a lot of uses, is what I'm saying. It's a very multi-dexterous card in certain decks, and that's Transmodify. Now, right now, they're about $8. I know about this time last year, they were hitting, well, after the ABC structure deck was announced, if you guys remember from a year ago, the price of this card went up because in the OCG, they were running Transmodifies in their build, as well as some other cards we're going to talk about looking back a year later. But Transmodify, I think, is a decent investment when the price goes down, or if you can get it in trade. I don't foresee it getting a reprint anytime soon. If it does, the price will dramatically decrease, but I think it'll go back up to like around $4 or $5 cards, maybe a year or so after the reprint. But it's a very good card, just always having your binder for play. Another card that I just stumbled across because I was trying to build a deck, and I was like, I already had one of these cards, but I wanted another one of them, and I was kind of surprised at how expensive it was. And that is number 54 Lionheart. This card is going for approximately on TCG Player $5. There's a line, they're holding here at the line of $4.98, but after that it goes to $4.30 and then goes higher than that. So if you have Lionhearts, number 54 Lionhearts from Number Hunters from like 3-4 years ago, guys, this card's worth some money. Believe it or not, it's worth a couple bucks. Another card we're going to talk about and look back on now. Let me see here quickly. Where did he go? Where did my other card go? Okay, I'll find him in a second. But there's one card that's not on this list I'm going to look up next here. But yeah, Amazon Queen, we looked at this card last week. And on eBay, I looked at it earlier. It's about the same price for near mint Amazon's Queens still. As we see here, you have lightly played. Fusion Gaming has a couple, so I'm going to say those are not too badly played because they have a very good rating. People always say you should buy near mint, but sometimes you can get away with some very good deals for lightly played. And the reason I say this as a little hint to you guys out there is if it's a very reputable store, like you see here, they got a 100% rating. They've made over 50,000 sales. 50,000. That's a lot of sales for a 100% rating over time. And I've bought from these guys before. And they may just be for a collectible purpose, a lightly paid first edition card. So for a collector, it's not near mint. But for a player, it's still in good, enough condition to play with. So for what, $13, $14, you can buy the card. But they got 3 of. But after that, it goes right through the roof. You see heavily played for $18. That's ridiculous. Near mint, lightly played. Like when it comes to reputable buyers on TCG Player that say lightly played, it's not like Trolling Told that says, oh, lightly played and it's ripped in half. No, it's usually decent. I've maybe a little crease like in the corner with a little edge wear that you're like, if you're a player and you just want to play the deck, it's nothing to write home about. The difference between $5 and like maybe $8 or $5, just because it says lightly played, it's got a little crease that nobody's going to care about, and probably you could sell it off afterwards if you're going to keep the deck for a long time. So that's my experience on TCG Player. But back to the point here, it's for near mint Amazon's Queens. They're going upwards of $22 plus, mid 22s up, so $22.50 rounded off plus for Amazon's Queens, and on eBay it's the same exact thing. I looked earlier. The other card I wanted to show you guys quickly Uh, sorry about doing this last minute. Ghost Trick. How do you spell Ghost Trick? Not Ghost Beef. I put too many T's. I suck at spelling. Delahan. Yeah, here we go. I want to show you this card too, because remember how I was showing you Lionheart? Dullahans are worth $4. From the Mega Pack, they're worth about $4. From Legacy of the Valiant, they're worth about $4. Roughly, you probably could sell it off for $4, unless you're dealing with somebody stingy that's like, oh, 10, 15 cents. I know Dullahan's a very good card, and it's an amazing rank 1 play. It's one of the best rank 1s in the game for an Exceed based deck, especially I know a popular deck that's always been around is like Mystic Piper level 1 decks for fun. I played one of those way back in the day when I had Mystic Pipers for fun. I tried it out in Blue Eyes because my friend Will suggested it before I sold the cards off. But yeah, Dullahans are worth some money. It's a card that hasn't got a reprint in 3 years. It's one of the best ranked ones. So if you're looking through bulk, keep an eye out for Ghost Trick Dullahan, man. That's $4. That's a lot of good money. So let's talk about some sets that you could possibly invest in for the future. So we're going to look at World Super Starters right now, guys. Did you know Galaxy Soldiers are still worth a lot of money? I didn't. I mean, I picked mine up for like way back in the day for like $8 when they first came out. But I know they're useful in a lot of decks. But if you think about it, they're not really useful in a lot of meta decks right now. So the fact that it's not seeing meta play kind of surprises me, because usually a card that's $20, it's a meta relevant card. Now I get the reason probably because of this is because it is a 3 of or a 2 of in a lot of decks out there, and Galaxy Soldier is thrown in a lot of decks out there. Cyber Dragons, Blue Eyes, ABC sometimes. Used to be a lot back in the day when ABCs first came out. But what I'm trying to say is it's used in a lot of 3 ofs and a lot of different decks out there. And after these are brought out, they're going to be worth a lot of money. So I also wanted to show you, because I didn't want to open up a whole bunch of tabs, how much this card is worth on eBay. It's not too much more, but let me show you. They're already hitting $20 on eBay for auction. But as you see here, they're gonna eventually hit $20. So if you have 3 ofs in this deck, you know 3 of this card, you got $60 sitting in your binder. It's ridiculous. You look at the rest of World Superstars. I'm going to show you this a little bit. You probably haven't looked at this set in a long time. A couple of bucks for the prize cards. The star chairs, the chair is $5 still. Utopia is $2. Ghost Trick of Mischief, those things that I used to get them in bulk trade. They're $2. Gaga Samurai, he was used a lot in the meta for a quick hot minute. He's $1. Dollar. So a lot of dollar cards here, as you see. Dollar worthy of cards. We'll go to the second page quickly. So if you have a dollar binder, throw some World Superstar stuff in it. It's worth a little bit of money. But yeah, I was very surprised as I just go through here quickly back to the main page that Galaxy Soldier was still worth a lot of money. Another set we're going to talk about. Let me exit out here. I think I went the wrong way. Let me go back here. What was the other set I wanted to talk about? Oh, yeah. What Superstars? Secret Forces. Excuse me. Sorry about that. When I clicked on that, I must have exited out of Secret Forces. I apologize about that. But I want to take a look take a look at this because a lot of people have been talking about this and nobody's been showing the prices necessarily. And it's worth money. It's worth taking notice if you still got this stuff. So I know a lot of people like playing the Necros format. That's too recent for me. I've played this game too long enough, to like other formats, but there are certain people out there that do like the Necros format. I think it was a very fun format to some degree, a little bit skillful. I would say skillful in quotation marks, but it was a pretty good format. Um, and people like going back and playing a lot of formats. However, because they have never gotten a reprint officially, they're still worth a lot of money. And I'm going to bring something up here at the end of this video here. But as you look here, Trish's are $15. I remember when these went down to like $5, $8. Valkyrie's are $30. Bryanac's are $12. Manju's are $5 for the super. The Vanity's Emptinesses are still, even though it's a banned card, are $1.50 still. Diabok, the Bad Secret, $3. Look at that. So, there's stuff. I mean, even the Royal Decrees are worth $1. So, I mean, Manju's just in general, guys. I want to show you this. Even though Manju's had a lot of reprints, I've always kept an eye on him and picked him up when I could because I knew Secret Forces, they were cheap. They were like $1 for a long time. But Manju's just in general, because it's one of the main ritual searching cards, have always been worth money. So if you ever are going through bulk and you find Manju's, that is money. That is at least a couple of bucks. You see the DTs are 8, 9, about championship pack, that doesn't matter. But recent things like Turbo Pack, and that's not that far. But even Horde Invasion of Chaos things, the supers, look, they're all $5, just about $4 to $5 for Manju's, just in general. In general. So if you're ever going through bulk or an old collection, pick out the Manju's because that's worth money. Manju is always worth money. Always has been, no matter how many reprints it gets, it's always worth money. I've noticed this for the last 5 years since I've been paying attention to TCG Player. The last thing I want to mention here, guys, is something that if you've played this game long enough, you'll notice this. There are 2 good type of sets to invest in. And in the long term, they'll be worth a little bit more money to you. The expensive cards out of that set, quote unquote, in quotations. And that is secondary sets. You may ask yourself, what do I mean by this, Seto? So let me just pull up here. So as we see here, this shows us pretty much the last year in a nutshell for Yu-Gi-Oh! Correct? Pretty much everything that's come out. All right. So I'm going to ask you quickly, what do you think is going to get reprinted in the 2017? As we go over to card fight, yeah, go ahead. What is going to get reprinted in the 2017 Megatins? What out of all of this? Okay. I think we can Invasion of Chaos, Invasion of Vengeance, that's going to get reprinted. Raging Tempest stuff, that will get reprinted, right? Most likely, stuff from there, right? In today's game, the main sets are not worth investing. They're really not, in the long scheme of things, at the moment, because of Megatins and reprints. After the Megatins come out, that's the best time to pick that stuff up. Because after the Megatin, it's probably going to be a couple of years before it gets reprinted again, especially if it's a higher rarity card and a card that is good tech, but not played in every single deck. Okay, like Transmodify, perfect example. Exciton Knight, perfect example. 3 years ago, it hasn't been printed in 3 years. What happens to cards that haven't been reprinted in a long time that are still worth money? They continue to creep up. And when the thing gets reprinted, it's probably not going to be in the same rarity, so people don't want the more expensive rarity. Just saying. So what I've noticed over the course of paying attention to the market over the last 3, 4, 5 years is something simple. Invest in secondary items sold by Konami. Invest maybe not in the sets necessarily, but invest in the expensive cards because they over time will accumulate money because they're not going to get reprinted as quickly. Perfect example I showed you in today's Market Watch. Toon Kingdom, Mimicat. These cards haven't got reprinted. They're not going to get reprinted anytime soon, most likely. I say most likely. Everything else got reprinted. What happened? It got bumped down because of Dragons of Legend 3. But the 2 cards that did not, they still have money with them. Right? They still have money. So what I'm trying to say is invest in those secondary sets that it's not like I said sex. The secondary sets that have expensive cards in them. Invest in those cards, not maybe necessarily buying the set, to hoping to pull cards, but when you see cards that are just good staples that could be printed in those sets, the Manjus, especially these sets nowadays we've been getting that are kind of like hidden arsenal sets where you have a secret in every pack and then a whole bunch of supers. If they got good cards like Manju and Royal Decree and Vanity's Emptiness, pick those cards up in droves, people, because that stuff will be worth money. These secondary sets are where the money's being made, including older sets in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like from the first series. As time has gone on, the older generation is now evolving into the GX series. So that's why we're starting to see hero stuff in general go up in price. If you pay attention to fusion heroes, just junk hero cards are going up in price. As time goes on, we're going to see stuff from the 5Ds era. And then I bet you maybe in 5-6 years, if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still around and being played at the level it is now, we're going to see things from the Zexal era go up in price. But that's down the road. That's just the rantings of a man that's seen expensive stuff go from the original series to the GX series and starting to slowly knock on the door of the 5D series for those era sets. So yeah, just something I wanted to let you guys know. Older sets are worth investing in to some degree, and sets that are secondary sets, not the main every 4 months we get this set, because those sets get reprinted every year just about right now. But till next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling. Hope you guys learned something from this Market Watch video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. I'll see you next time. Good luck dueling to all of you.